I'm Kim. I'm Crowing Crest Lodge. I have 19 cabins, and I'm in Akeley, Minnesota with Crowing Crest Lodge. Let's go around. Gary, would you mind introducing yourself real quick? Unmute yourself and let us know. Wait. You're still muted. Can you unmute yourself or lean forward and, oh, there you go. Perfect.
Yeah. So Gary and Linda Knox, we own Mini Teepee Resort. Our address is Hackensack, but we're closer to Longville.
Turtle races in Longville, right? Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we ran them for 17 years.
Oh my gosh, really? Yeah. That's pretty cool. What do you do with the turtles after they're done? You set them what? You set them free?
Well, they didn't want to go. We have a little harbor at our resort, and so we kept the turtles down in the harbor area.
Uh-huh.
In the fall, when it's time to head back to school, we'd release them, but they would just hang around the harbor for another few years, waiting for more free food. Because we always had about 100 turtles down there.
That's great. I didn't know that about you.
Our kids rented them.
That's a good piece of information. Wow. So how many cabins do you guys have at Mini Teepee?
8.
8. Got it. And no campsites?
Pardon me?
No campsites.
No campsites, no.
Great. Glad to have you join us again. How about Linda's iPad, and then we'll go to Mary Schmerling. So Linda, would you mind introducing yourself just for 30 seconds? How many cabins and which resort? And thanks.
Hi, I am Linda at Shady Creek Resort, and we're up near Millerville, Minnesota. We have 7 cabins, and we've been here for 45 years.
Wow, that's wonderful. Welcome.
Yeah.
Mary Schmerling, would you like to go next? And then we'll do maybe Casey at Arcadia Lodge. Hey, yep, you got it.
Okay.
Look at us being all tech savvy here.
Hey guys, Mary with Paradise Resort. We are east of Bemidji on Moose Lake in Pennington, and we have had the resort for 27 years. We've got 8 cabins and 12 seasonals.
Wonderful. Yes, and a great big lodge with selling beer and all kinds of things. We did a tour there from the CMR, I don't know, 10 years ago maybe, something like that. And what I remember distinctly is having a wonderfully refreshing beer at the end of a long day. So beautiful resort. All right, we're going to go to Casey next, and then Clinton Patty. Casey, would you mind introducing yourself for 30 seconds?
Casey Jones, Arcadia Lodge. Just finished our 29th season. 28 cabins these days, no campsites, no RV sites. And thankfully, we closed our restaurant down 10 years ago, so not dealing with that headache these days.
Right. Thank you. You got a lot of family with you, right, Casey? You got like generationals. Mm-hmm.
Yep, it's grandma, my old man, me and my wife, and my 2 daughters.
Gotcha. Great. Thank you. Welcome back again. Clinton Patty, would you like to introduce yourself real quick, and then we'll go to Jim and Kristen?
Hi, it's only me today.
Oh.
Clint's outside working. So it's Balsam Beach Resort. We've been here 25 years. We got 8 cabins, 26 seasonals, 5 miles south of Bemidji. That's us.
Okay. And you're the queen right now.
I am.
Patty and Clint won the Resorters of the Year last year, and she's been lording the crown ever since. So I'm surprised and shocked that you are not wearing it this morning, Missy.
Oh, funny. Yeah. Hey, listen, it's a big deal, and you have to really advertise yourself.
And milk it for all you can, Missy.
That's right.
Welcome. All right, Jim and Kristen, let's introduce you next, if you don't mind saying a couple things. Then we'll go to Joanna at Brookside.
Hi, I'm Kristen. This is my husband, Jim. We own Sunset Bay Resort in Richville. We're about 12 miles south of Perham. We have 10 cabins and 7 campsites, and we just finished our 8th year.
Fantastic. And Jim is also the office manager of the CMR, for those couple of you that may not know it, but I think we all do now. Yay! Welcome this morning. And by the way, Jim, thank you very much for, did you do a video this morning of navigating the CMR website? I know we talked about that on Wednesday. I can't believe how ambitious you are feeling, sir.
I did. It's pretty amateurish, but it gets the point across.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you. I can't wait to watch it. So, Well, let's move to Joanna if you want to introduce yourself in 30 seconds, and then we'll move to Julie Evers after Joanna. So Joanna, take it away.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Joanna Wallenberg, and I'm at Brookside Resort. We are in Park Rapids, Minnesota. What else is it? 29 cabins. Forgot about that one.
Track, right?
Yeah. I think that's all on me.
Well, and you run it with how many of your family members?
Oh, yeah. I wrote down Casey at Arcadia Lodge's name because I thought, I'm going to send him an email because we are also in the generational thing. So my parents, me and my husband, and my brother.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Spouses sometimes. So,
yeah. Yeah, lots of complicated relationships.
Remind me, I need to talk to you, Chicky, about kids craft class that we're having scheduled in February. And Kathy Marnick, too. I see she's coming on.
Oh, great. Yeah, definitely.
Remind me later. Okay, let's go to Julie Evers, if you don't mind introducing yourself real quick, and then we'll go to Mark Bloomquist after Julie. So Julie, take it away. Introduce yourself for 30 seconds.
Hi, everybody. I am not a resort owner yet, but will be as of January 4th.
Ooh.
We are buying, my brother and my son and my husband and I are buying my cousin's resort, which has been in the family for 75 years.
Wow.
Kim's Camp outside of Dent, close to Bayside, or Sunset Bay Resort. And we're excited for the opportunity and the challenge.
Congratulations, Julie. That sounds really exciting. How many cabins again? Sorry, you might have said.
We have 12 cabins and campsites.
Wonderful. Well, welcome. So glad you had
Thank you.
Oh, wonderful. Well, let's move to Mark Bloomquist up there at Cedar Point, is it? Cedar Point Resort?
Cedar Rapids.
Cedar Rapids. Thank you, Mark. Okay, please take it away. And then we'll go to Sharon Severance after Mark. So go ahead, Mark.
Mark Bloomquist, me and my wife, Jen, own Cedar Rapids Lodge. We've been there for 5 years, and our mom and dad owned it for a little over 30 years before that. And that's about it. That's what I got.
You're having fun though, right?
Oh, it's awesome. Yep, best thing since sliced bread.
Glad to hear it. All right, thank you for coming this morning. Okay, Sharon Severance, would you like to introduce yourself for 30 seconds, and then we'll go to Shelley at Royal Star Resort. Go ahead, Sharon.
Hi, I'm Sharon Severance, and my husband and I own Barrett Lake Resort. It's about 25 miles west of Alexandria. We owned it together with two other couples starting in 2004, and then just my husband and I since 2012. We have 4 cabins and 42 seasonal sites.
Wow, wonderful, wonderful. Well, welcome this morning. Welcome. I love the background. I've not quite got tech savvy as you are, so kudos for being so tech savvy. Woo-hoo.
That's actually the lake in our background.
Oh, nice. Man, we should ask her a tutorial on how to do that, huh? All right. Shelley, Miss Shelley and I have been on the Instagram support group together. So she's a very shy individual. So I'm grateful that she's here this morning and hanging out with us. And as soon as Shelley stops speaking, let's go to Bonnie at Pine Cone Lodge after Shelley. So Shelley, do you want to just give us 30 seconds of how many cabins and where your resort is located?
I'm Shelley from Royal Star Resort. We're in Nevis, and we have 13 cabins here.
Wonderful. Welcome. And she's now Instagramming. Woohoo!
Yep.
All right. Bonnie, are you, oh, there she is. Yay.
Hi.
Bonnie, welcome. Go ahead. Introduce yourself for 30 seconds if you wouldn't mind.
Pine Cone Lodge, and we're in Park Rapids, and we have 9 homes that we rent out actually year round.
9, got it.
Oh, and this is like our 13th year or something like that, but my husband grew up there. That's why we have it.
Got it. Great. And she's Instagramming too. Woohoo!
Well, sort of.
I know, we've been struggling together. All right, well, let's go to Kathy at Timber Trails, and then we'll go to Kim Jacobson. So Kathy, do you mind 30 seconds of letting us know, introduce yourself real quick.
Hi, I'm Kathy Marnick. My husband Tom is active on the board. We have Timber Trails Resort in Reamer, which is just east of Leech Lake. We have 10 cabins and 12 campsites.
Woo-hoo. She's another person I'm going to hit up for kids craft sharing in February. Her face is probably going, I don't know if I want to, but I'm going to nail you down, mister. She's got all kinds of wonderful ideas for kids crafts. So thank you. Kim Jacobson, would you like to introduce yourself real quick? And then I think we'll go back to Timberly because I think we've hit everybody. So Kim.
Sure. Kim Jacobson, Jacobs Cove. We're a small resort outside of Pelican Rapids. 5 cabins. We live in one of them. No lodge. We're seasonal. This is our 16th year.
Nice. Welcome. Wonderful to have. And then Timberly, unless I've missed anyone, have I missed anyone here? I don't think so. Timberly, tell us a little bit about you and if you have any other rules today.
Oh, yes, rules. That sounds great. So I'm Timberly. I've got Fin and Feather Resort near Bemidji. We've had it for 43 years, 20 cabins. And in the family, like some of you guys, grandparents, my kids are 4th generation. So, but yeah, so that's me. Yay. And so I think we've introduced everybody. I think we can get started.
Yeah, let's do. So who wants to talk? Do you have burning questions? Especially some of you newbies, if you've got some burning questions, please don't hesitate. I didn't know if we wanted to talk about beds or, you know, I have no burning questions myself, so I just want to kind of help direct the conversation. So if you want to start about where people get their beds, or if you've got good ideas to get it in bulk or cheap or comfortable, or what type of beds work best, or if you want to veer off into mattress pads or some kind of supplies that we had a hard time getting hold of this summer due to COVID, for example, hand sanitizer or anything. Anybody burning questions or comments, or did you find some good deals? Casey, do you have something, do you have a comment?
I need about 4 dozen beds this year, so anybody got any ideas?
Wow. So good. Joanna's got an idea. Please, Joanna, go ahead.
Sure. We are diehard Symbol mattress fans. So we only buy Symbol mattresses, really. Easy. The prices are unbelievably good. And the thing about it is you need like $1,000 minimum order to get free shipping. That's not a problem for us, unfortunately. Unfortunately. So you too, at 4 dozen beds, I would just go right to Symbol, personally. We even have people call us and ask us where we got them because they want one for their house.
Really?
Yeah.
Because we had some Symbol mattresses when we bought the resort 20 years ago, because Terry and Connie, my former resort owners, bought them. And we didn't like them. We could kind of feel the springs. So is there a different level of mattress that you choose?
They have good, better, best. We usually get better. We never get good. Once in a while I've gotten best.
Okay. All right.
I would say we've done the same, done Symbol, the better for almost all of our cabins.
Mm-hmm. Jim and Kristen had a comment too. Anyone else too?
Yeah, we purchased ours from Restwell Mattress. I believe it's in St. Louis Park. I don't remember exactly, but they're double-sided mattresses, and they have the same thing, a good, better, best, and we always buy the medium level. They manufacture their own mattresses. You know, I didn't do a lot of price comparison. You know, we kind of got lucky. We bought them when the first year that we took over, and they've lasted, and we just flip them every year to allow the wear to be even. But we thought the price was good when we bought them because we bought all new for the whole resort at that time. And then the shipping was free with that purchase.
And then we've also had people call us and ask, you know, where we got them. Because they say they've never slept so great on them. It's like, perfect.
What's the company called again, you guys?
Restwell Mattress.
Restwell Mattress. All right, out of St. Louis. I happen to use a place over in Park Rapids called SNL Outlet, and I like them because they're only 17 miles away from me and typically have decent mattresses. They'll come deliver, which I really like, and they'll actually take my mattresses away, the old ones. I don't like making an extra trip to the dump. So anyone else have tips about beds or bedding or any of that. I've had a hard time, frankly, getting king pillowcases that weren't microfiber. You can go on Amazon, for instance, and get a whole bunch of cheap pillowcases, but they're all microfiber, and we hate the microfiber because it pills up, it keeps lint, hair, yuck. Great. So I don't know. Any suggestions on where you get? Do you guys color code your sheets too? I'm assuming. Does everybody color code? Yep, we do too. All right. Bedding issues, struggles, anything along the lines of bedding that you're burning question wise?
I know a lot of people were talking with the COVID, they were going to buy extra blankets, and that was kind of an issue in the spring, like where to get the blankets. Yes. And so I don't know. I know we went on and just got some, I think it was just on Amazon. I think it ended up being like a JCPenney's or Kohl's or something like that that were cheap, but I was curious if other people had found good spots.
Us too. We need some new sheets, but I don't like white or brown, or I like the pattern ones. And what's the best kind of thread count that people get?
That's a good question. I tend to get the cheapy ones myself. How about other people? What are your thoughts on that? Thread count, and so my doubles are white, for instance. My queens are blue. Oh, Kathy has comments. Please, Kathy, what is your comment about sheets and things?
When we first came to the resort, they were lots of old, and every cabin had their own individual pattern. So I quickly went to Walmart and had all my kids who lived in different states pick up the same pattern in the queens and the fulls, and they were the 200 thread count, and they have worn well. I'm still using a lot of them. I haven't had to replace most of them. So 200 thread count, mainstay at Walmart.
Yeah, we get ours at Kohl's. My wife, they're afraid to see my wife. She walks into Kohl's and they know that they have to give us the sheets. She has so many bargains there. So we buy all of our bedding at Kohl's. It's really good stuff. And we like patterns too. We love to have the lady that does our laundry gets a kick out of it, because we've got all kinds of, we don't have white, we have all kinds of neat patterns.
That's awesome. I'm getting my thingy up here. Okay.
I think I see Kim Jacobson has a comment.
Please, Kim, go ahead.
I'm curious to whether you guys do a laundry service. I do my own laundry with just 5 cabins to do. So I'm looking for sheets that dry quickly in the dryer, and that I go all white because people get blood on them and different things. So I want to be able to bleach them. So I always bring in a bleach stick when I take the bedding off so that I can make sure that they're treated. So yeah, I'd just be curious do you do a laundry service? And I buy my sheets at a dollar store, and they're great. They dry super quick. So something to maybe look into.
I'm sensing a pattern here. It sounds like the higher count, expensive thread count sheets are probably not worth the money in a resort platform, it sounds like. Does anybody have something?
I just want to mention that laundry service. You asked about laundry service. We've owned our resort for 37 years, in our 38th year, and we've never washed a sheet. We send them out. We made up our mind right away that we were not gonna do that. It's really been a big difference. It's a big chunk of change, but boy, it's worth it for us. I don't know about anybody else.
What company do you use, Gary?
We've gone through 4 different companies now. When we bought the resort, we inherited a company in Park Rapids, and then they closed. We went to Grand Rapids, to Itasca Laundry, and they were the best without any question. And then we went to a place in Perham. They all deliver. They all pick up and deliver, so we don't have to do anything. And now we're doing locally. Now we have a lady who owns a laundromat in Longville, and she charges more, but she does a nice job, and it's real handy. So we went through four different companies over the 37 years.
And so they pick up on like a Monday
They
or?
pick up on Monday and they deliver on either Thursday or Friday, depending on a few issues. But both work out fine because we're a Saturday to Saturday resort. So.
Okay. Patty's got some comments here. Go ahead, Miss Patty.
No, I have a question. I make mine really smelly, like downy and those little beads. Anybody else? Or do they just like go bleach?
I have strong opinions on this, so I think I'm going to hold off a little bit. Does anybody else have comments on that? Nope.
Oh, tell me, Kim.
We don't actually use them at the resort, but the resort that we've stayed at in the past for 33 years, she used them. I've thought about using them or not. To me, I feel like, I don't know, it makes it, I enjoy the smell, but it also kind of makes it feel like artificial more, like you're just sleeping on chemicals. But
True.
The smell is really nice.
True.
And I guess I would just do a quick comment that I have heard people comment, even when we used to use Pine Sol and stuff, that with allergies, some people can't handle those strong smells. It's just something else to think about. And if they're laying on it, it might be pretty strong for people. But
Gary, Teresa, I saw you had maybe an expression. Do you have a comment or make sure you unmute yourself if you've got a comment? Nope. Okay. We've got a few more people.
I was just going to say that I'm very sensitive to smells, so I prefer nothing. Just the clean.
Oh.
I use them for my personal clothes, though.
Kimberly and I are looking at each other going, oh boy, we're going to try to keep our...
Well, let's hear it. What is your opinion?
There's a lot of research out there that links the chemical fragrances that they put in fabric softeners to cancer. So we are all natural cleaning here. So, and we tend to tell that on our website. So we tend to attract people who are also chemically sensitive. So we've actually gone to, years ago, I used to use all organic and natural detergents and things of that nature. And I used to have like lavender or eucalyptus in there, but even that I've gone to no scent at all, just none. I kind of got to that point after a while because I kind of like the scents too. I get where you're coming from. You want people to smell fresh when you come in, and I've kind of gone to, over the years, I spray down the doorways with a natural insect repellent that's made out of pine, some different pines, spruces, sometimes cinnamon. It just depends on what it is. So they've got that immediate smell right when they're coming in the cabin, but it dissipates within about 15 minutes or to an hour. So they get that impact of, okay, it's been cleaned. And then everything else is neutral, no smelling, because I want them to smell the outdoors. So, Kimberly, do you have a comment?
I would just kind of agree with what you said. We've kind of gone to non-strong odor type things, natural.
Okay, ladies, I'll let you know when you stink.
That happens often.
We'll teach another class soon, Patty. Maybe you might be a convert at some point, because most of the stuff we use is actually cheaper, believe it or not. So.
I know, but I am a total Pine Sol, make it smell all pretty. I've never had no complaints.
That's
never.
Good. That's good.
So,
you just have to remember that everybody has a different sense of what's pretty, and we try to err on the side of, most people will bring an air freshener or a scent that they like if they want to spray their cabin. But we found that it's better to err on the side of less fragrance for them. But I love it in my sheets at home. I put the little beads in too. So yeah, just maybe do a survey with your customers and ask them and see what they say.
That's a good idea.
Exactly.
That's a great idea. And an easy thing to do. That's a great idea.
And I see Kristen had put a comment about perm linen. Have you guys decided where you're going to go now then?
We found a couple of different places. We're working with a bunch of resorts in the area to see if we can get a route out of Moorhead. There's a place there that's willing to do it. So hopefully that'll come to fruition, because I'm not spending a day every week at the laundromat. Just not going to do it.
Understood.
I agree with that.
You know, we had the opposite experience. We inherited the resort. Well, when we didn't inherit it, we bought it, right? They were using perm linen out of Park Rapids area, and I hated it. I just hated having that feeling of no control. They would pick up, which was great, but then it would come back on Thursday night, and they wouldn't be separated. They wouldn't, you know, the fitted wouldn't be matched with a flat sheet, and they would just kind of come higgledy-piggledy. And so it was on Friday that I was restuffing everything, and I hated that extra task on Friday when I'm already checking people out and messing around with other maintenance things. And we were getting other people's sheets a lot, and I don't know, I just wanted a little bit more control. So we started with a one set Maytag washer and dryer that next season, and did 76 beds at that time, I think it was, in one set. And it took us a couple of days to kind of keep doing it. The next year we added 2. Now we have 4 washers and 6 dryers, and we just take one of our cleaning staff on Saturday, and all she does all day is laundry. So we have 82 beds now, and so we just do them all on Saturday. And actually last year, because of COVID, we didn't. We asked our guests to bag up all of their linens, and so we just grabbed the bags and we let them sit in our lodge for 3 days, and Emily was then doing all the laundry on Tuesdays and then recycling them. So, and I honestly don't mind having people, so people have to, in ordinary years, people would have to walk through our laundry area to get to the lodge bathroom, or go through the kids' arcade room. And I don't mind having piles and piles of linens up to the ceiling, just for guests to get a sense of what it's like for us to do some tasks like that. So, you know, a little preference kind of a thing. Other people's opinions about
I just jump in. I see that Joanna had a question about if anyone owns a commercial washer or dryer, like kind of the laundromat.
We do. Yep. So all of our washers and dryers, by the way, Joanna, are in this communal room. So they're coin op. It's $2 for people to put quarters in. And then we just have a key when we do our own laundry, and we take that out. And
We can never share guest laundry.
We have Unimac machines. They do a pretty good job.
Wait, somebody speak
that again.
Unimac machine.
Casey.
So we use.
I'm sorry, Casey, I didn't hear that clearly either. Could you repeat that?
Unimac is the machine brand we use.
Where do you get your machines, Casey?
There was a dealer out of the cities,
Out of the city.
actually horrible to work with. BDS something.
BDS,
He was
yeah.
a pain in the ass salesman to work with, but the machines themselves are absolutely great.
If you have a minute, can you type that in the chat for us? And then we can maybe copy and paste that. Joanna might find that appreciative.
Yeah, because I think I do want to buy one of those, the big one that costs
So
you
nice.
like $12 at the laundromat to do. But I'm just not sure where to start. So I would love the dealer.
Makes such a difference in time.
Another place to look would be there's a place in Fargo that sells them too. That sells used and new commercial units, because we have 2 front loads and 4 stack dryers that our guests use and that we use if we need to. And they're all commercial units.
Can you type that place in the chat, Clint?
I get a flyer from them every once in a while.
Okay.
Never purchase from them, but I do get flyers from them. I just know they're in Fargo someplace.
Okay.
I see people are asking about septic system. That's hard on septic system, and I'm not exactly sure how to answer that one, but if anyone knows.
What's that? Your washers and dryers?
Yeah, if like doing commercial size laundry and doing all the sheets, if that's hard on septic system.
I know on the front load washers, they use about 1/3 of the water that your top loads do. That's why we have front loads everywhere in the house, out there, and just trying to save on our septics. But now the big commercial, the great big ones, I don't know how much they use, but the ones we have are about half of what the top, or about 1/3 of what the top loads use.
So we had a new septic system put in maybe 5 years ago from Septic Check, who were, by the way, an associate member of the CMR. They were great to work with. Really appreciated them. But that first summer that we used it, we had an issue of a backup after Labor Day. And we were thinking, oh my gosh, maybe this is because we're really doing all the laundry now. We start, in the fall after Labor Day, I'm sure you, like us, will start washing all the pieces of the bedding and doing some deep cleaning kinds of things. And we thought, oh gosh, this is an issue because we're overloading the septic system with water and that kind. So I made a whole bunch of phone calls to Septic Check, and the answer is no. Your septic should be able to handle it pretty easily. What we found out was it ended up being an incident. We only had one couple here, an older couple, and I don't know what the hell they flushed down cabin 3's toilet, but it could have been a diaper. I don't know, but we finally did trace it back to an issue with the only couple that was here on the entire week we were doing all of this laundry. So your septic system should handle all that extra water just fine, according to septic people, experts anyway, because we also had that same incident and same concern. So we got that alleviated. Does anybody else have some comments about septic systems and washers? And yes, Clint is right. Front load washers, we have Maytags here, and they use 6 gallons of water as opposed to about 20 of traditional type. Any other comments people have about that, or where you get your washers or your machines, or linen services versus doing your own? Or have you found some tips and tricks doing your own linens that you would like to pass along or share?
I'll just tell a quick blurb which surprised me. This summer we were doing the laundry, and my mom likes to hang stuff out, as do I. And I didn't realize when we first bought the resort that was how they washed all the sheets and would hang everything out to dry each time. And I'm like, I don't have any idea how they used to do that. Really cool, but not going to happen.
That's a lot of work. Yeah. Okay. Let's see. What else are people commenting about? Please jump in. Anybody have a comment? Please, supplies. We can move on to different topics if you wish.
I don't know. I know we had talked about this when we were preparing for the classes, talking about water toys. That was kind of a big thing. I think a lot of resorts kind of look like what they're going to purchase for the next year, as far as if it's kayaks or paddle boards or even the inflatable things. So I'm curious what people are planning for next year. We're always looking at inflatable things, just don't seem to last, and they are expensive. So I don't know if people have certain spots that they've had good luck with.
We buy our kayaks from Fleet Farm, and I usually wait until they go on sale, and then I buy 2 or 3 of them at a time. So we have about 20 of those things. Stuff. We tried those fun bugs. Anybody else try those? And they operate on a fin system underneath the fun bug that's a plexiglass, and the kids break those things all the time. We went through, they're about $25 a set, and you can order them from the company, the fun bug company. But I finally took them out of the water and put them behind the garage where nobody can see them. I don't know what to do with them now.
By the way, Gary, we had a fun bug too, and my guys just custom made a board instead of the plexiglass, and
it worked.
It did. It hasn't broken since.
What kind of wood did you use for your board?
Honestly, it was just USB board. It wasn't even anything fancy.
Oh.
And it was
I'll try that. I still have the fun bugs. I just hid them behind the garage where nobody can see them. But went through that plexiglass. I bet I ordered at least 5 sets, and they're $25 a piece. And
wow.
I just got tired of it. I would tell the kids, leave them in the water, just tie them to the dock, and they wouldn't do it. They just dried up on the sand, and the fins would break.
If you ever want to sell those old fun bugs, connect with me. I'd be happy to buy them from you, or just put it on the chat line. I'm sure somebody will connect. We'd be happy to buy things like that from you. That's a perfect thing to sell on the chat line. So
I know I see Linda had a comment, and so does Kathy. So
yep.
Go ahead, Linda.
This year we bought a new lily pad, and we had one temporarily out there was my daughter's, and we decided to purchase our own, and it was just the biggest hit.
What is that?
What is it? Oh, it's just a big flat, like almost styrofoam pad, and it rolls up, and when you roll it, gosh, I don't know how many feet long it is, but anybody can walk on it. I mean, you can sit on it, adults sit on it, and kids run on it constantly. And it's like a big floaty thing, only it's only about that thick. I don't know. My husband's not here, but I don't know what it's made out of.
Did you have
to
anchor it?
We did. We anchored it to our dock. And yeah, you have to anchor it or it'd take off across the lake because it's just a piece of flat with a rope that you can tie it to whatever you want. And our biggest issue was we thought maybe we'd have to take it out every night, but it just stayed floating. It stayed tied to the dock. A couple of times in wind, it would flip over the dock, but it really didn't matter because it's just going to stay floating. But we also bought a rolling log last year, which we thought was really going to be a big hit. It was okay. More of the kids, we thought they'd have more tournaments to see who could stand on the rolling log the longest. But I'll tell you, the lily pad won out by far because it was just so easy to use. But
is that where we could find those, like lilypad.com or?
Oh, just anywhere. Yeah, just Google them and.
So I don't even.
I think they're similar to the water whoosh that they sell. That Rave Sports sells.
Okay.
I don't know. You can pay, I mean, be $600, $800, and they're just well worth it.
Lily pad, got it. Interesting. Kathy, did you have a comment about some kind of a water toys that you guys are using over there? Sorry, Kathy Timber Trails is who I was referring to, right? Yes. Or did anybody else have yeah, please.
No, we're here. We had to unmute. This is actually Tom Marnick, Kathy's husband. So this last year we purchased a Jungle Gym Junior from Aquaglide. I was extremely impressed with the quality and the solidness of the Aquaglide products. It looks like this year they've actually gone and created like kind of a commercial line versus the residential line. So we are purchasing a bouncer, a 16-foot bouncer. The only problem is nothing is in stock. It won't be in stock until January. So we're trying to purchase it this year and spend the money this year because we need to tax purpose wise. But again, highly recommend the Aquaglide products, and kids loved the Jungle Gym Junior. That was a super hit. And we bought a mat too, and I forget the name brand, but it was out of a place out of Fargo, I think, actually, that was developing the. No, actually not Fargo, South Sioux City, South Dakota. Something like that.
Aquaglide is a website that you can just, is it like aquaglide.com or something like that? Search that. And what kind of ballpark are we talking? $5 grand, 10 grand for a jungle?
The bouncer is like $1,600.
For the bouncers, they're comparable to the Rave line. They have a lot of similar products of Rave, but our first product we bought was a bouncer from Rave, and it did last 9 years with lots of patches and lots of storms, so we were happy with that. But since we bought the Jungle Gym through Aquaglide, we just think their quality is a lot stronger. So going to try a new bouncer with them.
Yeah, the Jungle Gym was a little more expensive. That's more like $3 grand. Go ahead.
Yeah, curious about the anchorages of these bouncers and inflatables. What kinds of tips do you guys have for the rest of us that don't have one of those inflatable kinds of things?
So we use a barge.
Is it just me, or are other people having difficulty hearing Casey? Okay, so Casey, none of us can really hear you very clearly.
Okay, let me try. How about now? Is it better?
Yes, that's much better.
Okay. So we use concrete anchors. I figured out 5-gallon buckets, many of them tied together to do it. We have since gone to 55-gallon drums full of concrete, something in that 500 plus a pound range. Usually at least 2 per toy, and we have half a mile of open water to play with. But
we don't get the big wind issue.
No, we can't hear you anymore, by the way, Casey. So I don't know whether it's sitting back or whether there's something in the background going on, but we're having a hard time hearing what you're, yeah, so please. Clint, I know has some, let's go to Clint. If Casey, if you can solve that problem, we would love to hear what you're saying because it sounds like it's something that we'd all really like to know. If you can solve it, come back on and raise your hand and we'll come back to you, honey. Go ahead, Clint. Please let us know about your suggestions.
Okay, we're on the east side of the lake and we get a ton of west wind. So on our big water tramp, I took a semi-tire, put a sheet of plywood in the bottom, sheet of plywood, got my stainless steel bolts coming up, and I filled it with, I think it was 8 bags of Sacrete it took to fill that tire, and it weighs about 650 pounds. So I put that out, brought my chain up, and I hooked that onto my onto my bongo, and that seemed to work really good. We still get a ton of wind. And then we bought a lot of those Rave, the splash stuff that all ties together, and on those, I got 2-foot ground anchors, like what you screw in the ground for like putting your dog chain on, and I welded a 6-inch to 8-inch disc on top of the bottom plate, so it gave me a bigger disc so it would hold more. And then I put chain on those, and then I go out there and I screw them in the bottom of the lake, and those actually hold all my splash tracks type toys in place. I put 1 anchor for each piece of equipment on the splash track, and I've had those in there for probably, I'm going to go on probably 4 years, and I've never had nothing come out of the ground or break loose on me.
Wow. Wow.
Clint, how do you, like every year, what do you do as far as reattaching to those anchors and finding the anchors?
Okay.
And dive down and put a chain on, and what do you do?
Nope. When I build them, I put a heavier chain on them. Everything's welded and painted, heavier chain, and then in the fall when I pull my toys, I put a gallon jug on, like a Hilux jug or something, and it floats, and then I'm only in about 5 foot of water. So then in the fall, when I take all my stuff out, I fill the jug full of water. It sinks down to the bottom because of the weight of the chain. In the spring, when the water's super clear, I go out there with my boat, my rake, my long handle. I snag the jugs, pull them to the surface, dump the water out, put the cap back on, and then the jugs float around until I'm ready to put my toys out. So that's how I find them every spring. Because if you need something attached and it comes to the ice and your ice shifts, I tried that 1 year and I drug my anchors away. I've never found them. So now by doing this, by dropping everything to the bottom, the ice just goes over them. And in the spring when the water's super clear, you just go out, snag them with a rake or a long pipe or whatever you have to make to do it. And you pull them up to the surface, dump out the water, they float till you're ready to hook up your attachments. And I always use chain, never rope, because the rope will wear and break. And of course, the chain will too eventually, but.
And I see we do the same as Clint does, probably because we talked to Clint and got these great ideas. So thank you. And I see just some comments. I know people are asking about troubles with seagulls and ducks on the lily pads and also about insurance. We definitely have issues with seagulls and ducks. That's the perk to having children, is that can be a job for your children. So my youngest every morning has to go scrub off all the water toys because short of BB guns that we haven't found anything.
Maybe we can get Mary to chime in. Mary, you listening? Because I think they do a water sprinkler system that sprays water out at night when nobody's there, and I think that helps keep them off. So maybe Mary can chime in.
Great, Mary Smerling, great. Please.
Hey guys, we also have lots of water toys over the many years that we've been there. I will say that they are a lot of work. A lot of maintenance. We're always going out filling stuff, patching holes. I mean, it's just continuous. No matter what you get, what brand you get, it's always maintenance. But about 3 years ago, we did put on a water sprinkler system, and I'm not real good at this, but Wade put in just sprinklers that go back and forth. They do 360. And, it's a lot of galvanized pipes, lots of all the stuff, sandbags. That too is a lot of work. It takes at least 2 days to get them all out. And it has cut down on the birds, but then you have, again, where the kids are out swimming and the sprinklers are on them and it's cold, you know, they don't want them on, so you got to shut them off. So I think for us, it's been a good thing, but it is a lot of work. And if you're just looking to do a couple toys, I wouldn't do it. We probably have, oh, I don't know, maybe 15, 16 toys out. And I don't know that we're going to put anything new out this year. We're talking about doing some other things, but I would definitely, when you're doing your water toys, make sure that it's what the kids are going to want, you know. And you know, you get young kids and you get old kids, and those older kids play on the younger kids stuff because it's in shallower. And if they don't want to go out to the deep water, they're playing on that, and they do end up wrecking things because their body weight is too much. So you constantly got to be watching those water toys. But I would say the water sprinkler thing worked out well. But again, I don't know much about it. Wade does all that, the sprinkler thing. So it's a lot of galvanized pipes and different things in the lake. So.
Insurance questions. Have we had troubles with our insurance people because of the particular water toys that we've had, and any wading through that minefield? It seems like sometimes it can be with insurance. So any comments? Anyone have a?
We had trouble with my past insurance. They would cover everything but the launch on the bongo system. You know, you got the log and the slide, and then you have this launch that people jump on and it launches the kid. They would cover everything but that piece of equipment, and they wouldn't insure any damage that happened because of it. And of course, the kids loved it, so I put it out anyway. But now we've switched insurance companies, and the muskrats chewed holes through 2 of my launches, so I gave up on the launch. But I don't have any issues with none of my other water toys with my current insurance.
How about slides? Ask about slides.
Yeah, how about the slides? Can you guys use slides?
Good question. I would like to get some. Does anyone have a good source? And do you have issues with your slides? Those of you who have them, like if you've got one on your swim raft or maybe in your shallow beach area. Does anybody have slides? Teresa.
Actually, we just bought one this year for next year, so we haven't put it in yet. And I got it in Park Rapids. Our resort is in Park Rapids. And it was just a guy that buys them and puts them together. So it wasn't from a particular company, but it is a brand, but I just forgot the name of the brand because I wasn't expecting to.
Did your insurance company say anything about it? Or?
You know, I haven't even checked yet because he has told us all the normal water toys are fine, except when you start getting into the bouncy stuff. So.
Except when you get into what stuff? The
bouncing stuff, the trampolines.
Yeah, the bouncy stuff. Yeah, we had one of those and we got rid of it. But the first insurance company that we had told me, yeah, it's a long time ago, but they didn't want slides. They had a case nearby in Reamer where some guy broke his neck and they weren't going to allow slides. So we've never had one. We have one, but we keep it we have a private beach that for our kids, and we keep it over there.
Yeah. I'll do some more research on it definitely with them, but that's what we did.
Yeah, that's good.
Cool. Somebody had a comment. I just wanted to. Kim Jacobson says that she puts pinwheels and tapes them to her rafts to keep the birds away. And it seems to work pretty well, and it's cheap. Probably go to the dollar store and get a bunch of pinwheels. So.
We tried it. It worked for a day.
Yeah. I have a BB gun. It worked.
Hey, great. We've got some chat going on the side here. Maybe we'll, unless somebody has some burning, water toys, I could probably talk for about an hour, honestly, you guys. I mean, for example, we try to get as many water toys like stand-up paddle boards that have less pieces to go wrong on them. So kayaks that are one piece, that don't have fins, those kinds of things. I'm intrigued by hydro bikes, but I've heard, and I'm so glad I talked to other resorters who have bought them, who've told me that they are very expensive, particularly to repair. Is that right, Sheila? You too? Because I thought, oh, that looks like a really cool thing to have at the resort. Sheila, do you guys have hydro bikes at your resort there?
Not anymore.
Oh, because you got rid of yours.
Yeah, they did last a very long time though. I will admit that. They did last a very long time, but when we were replacing parts and we're having problems with some parts of it, we just decided to move on to something different. And we didn't replace them. They were here when we bought the resort. So.
Gotcha. So I'm glad we're having this conversation because we do not have a bongo or any kind of thing like that. We just have a plain old swim raft out there, mostly because I like the look of an old fashioned vintage resort. That's kind of my thing. But I've really seriously thought about getting stuff. But every time I talk about it, I hear all these comments about, okay, you're going to have poop on your bongo. You're going to have troubles with it blowing away in storage. You're going to have punctures in it. You're constantly going to have to maintenance. And so I'm always like, I'm so glad I didn't get those pieces, but maybe I should. I don't know. I don't know what to think about it. Are you glad you had the bongo? I also think that once you put something out and your guests start to love it, they're gonna hate you if you take it out. You're gonna have to always replace it with something. Does that sound about right? Okay.
All right. How do we get in line for something to ask? Do we get to ask something? I had a question regarding the lily pads. We didn't put ours out this last summer because of COVID. I wasn't willing to get wet every day to clean it. I know, what a baby. But did anybody else just put theirs out and just call it good? Or did you go out and spray it every day? You went out, you sprayed it? You didn't? You just called it good? Okay.
Yeah, we just called it good here.
They were very upset with me that we did not have it out that last year. Everybody was crying. So I want to get it out this year, and I think I'm just going to do the peroxide thing if I have to and just spray it down that way. And the water turtles. Has anybody seen water turtles? We were getting them before from that one resorter that took the time to order them from China and bring them all over. Yes. Those are the best toys ever. But my husband says, you know, there's certain, without keep putting more fiberglass material on them and keep trying to fill all the holes, he'd like to get us some new ones, and I can't find them without giving my life information to somebody in China.
Yes.
So anybody had any luck with those at all anywhere? I don't know. Why can't we make them here? I don't understand why somebody like Lifetime or somebody isn't selling these. They're wonderful toys.
The Chinese already have your Lifetime information.
You know, Mark from Hideaway Bay Resort did a bulk buy for all of the group several years ago. So we had two of the kid size ones, and we put one out, not both at the same time. I'm glad we did because it broke about halfway through summer, and then we put the other one out, and that one broke by the end of that summer. So it was a little bit too messing around for us in our particular. You know, we probably average 40 kids on site. Sometimes we have as many as 60. So we do have quite a bit of activity and use. So for us, we try hard to get pieces that don't have a lot of moving bits that we have to replace all the time.
45.
Okay. Good question.
I think we need to get you a phone.
What were we just talking about? I wanted to go reverse. What were we just talking about? Something about. Sorry, maybe I'll just leave that. We were talking about bongos and swim rafts and
lily pads, rolling logs,
water turtles.
Water turtles. That's what you were talking about from China.
Yeah. Right. Okay. Well, keep going. I had a point, but maybe I'll get back to it. So I have there's a lot of questions in the chat. So should we start talking about that and just go where people have burning questions? There's a burning question about candies and where you guys get candies for your lodge to sell, and if anybody has some kind of a link for nostalgic candy or other vintage items to sell in your lodge or your gift store or your gift shelving. Does anybody have tips to pass along to Cole's Resort?
We sell ice cream from Schwann's. So the Schwann's man stops every 2 weeks, and we load up our freezer with all those little things. People like those. But otherwise, we stopped selling candy. We used to sell candy all the time, and it just didn't seem worth it anymore. People bring their own stuff. It's amazing. Our customers show up and, you know, their cars are loaded with all kinds of treats for the week.
Kathy's got comment about this. Please go ahead, Kathy.
We sell a lot of candy, and I get a lot of it through Sandstrom's, but there's also a company that you can get it from, the Warrell Company, which is the Dutch candies line, and they have a lot of the old-fashioned candies and the saltwater taffy and the rock candy on sticks and stuff like that, and they're very easy to deal with.
What's that called again, Kathy? Warren?
Warrell, W-A-R-R-E-L-L Company, which also has the line of the Dutch candies, and they're very easy, and you can talk to them, and they can wait and ship until late spring and stuff like that. So if it's meltable stuff, you won't have a problem.
Fantastic. And I see that Jim and Kristen have also put a contact for nostalgic candy on there too.
I was going to mention, Kim, could Kathy put in their website if she has it? That way people reading the comments can pick up on the websites and
Sure.
the names.
Yep. The candies, even like the multi-packs, what we'll do is we'll split them out and put them in jars, and just like they can come in and get like a quarter. With their quarter, they can get a candy, those little Sour Patch candies. And I mean, it's incredible. The kids will spend every day, they'll come in with money to do it. And what we do here is we have this little kid's credit card paper, and it's a punch card, and it's like the parents will prepay $10 for it, and it has different amounts on it, and they have it for the week, and then they can come and buy either their ice cream treat or their candy or whatever they want with it. And we do sell a lot of candy. Even those little pacifier pops and the toilet bowl sour flushes. I mean, the weirder, the more popular they are, and it's a great draw.
That idea about the punch card, I know Pat at Cedar Rapids Resort talked about that a lot too. Describe like a typical card that you would sell to an
Grab
adult.
me one. I'll have Tom grab me one, and you can actually see it.
That would be fantastic.
In the drawer.
A better idea. Because we've certainly, does anybody else do a punch card at their resort for kids and gifts? And okay, you do too. Fun money at Timber Trails. All right, so, oh, I see. So you've got the numbers all the way around? Okay.
Yep. It's different denominations from quarters to 50 cents and dollar, and you just punch it out as they go along.
So one card to purchase would be what?
$10. It's $10. It adds up to $10. So, and that's usually enough. Some kids will go through it in 2 days, and others will have it left over at the end of the week. And if they do, I give them their money back. It's a lesson in finance for them.
How do you keep track of that in your reservation master or your reservation system?
I charge this as a $10 charge, and then it's done. I don't have to do anything else.
Right. So it could be soda, it could be candy, but who really cares? Because it's pretty small anyway.
Right.
All right. More comments or conversation going that way with things? Yes, Teresa, please.
Has anybody ever used Henry's out of Alexandria where they deliver stuff?
Oh, Sheila, go ahead. You've used them and it was good? You had a good experience with them? Oh, find that mute, unmute.
Right. Okay, there we go. Henry's, we use them in the restaurant, and we didn't open the restaurant last summer, and they decided instead of having a $300 minimum, they're going to $750 minimum, which is ridiculous.
Okay, wow. I have a relative that works there, and he suggested I sign up, so that's all I use.
I'm looking, and that was my question out there. Does anybody, who are you guys using for large supplies? If anybody has a restaurant or somebody like, I don't know, there's an American company called, I forgot, but there's different companies out there. I'm going to have to start shopping around to see who has a lower minimum, but they're very expensive. They just changed that program. So they may have decided not to do it because of so many complaints. I don't know.
Bummer.
And I know we also get ice cream, but we don't make enough to do the minimum from Henry's. So we go in with Cass Lake Lodge. So it kind of helps both of us to get the right amount for an order each. And then I just go pick it up 5 minutes away or whatever. So so you might be able to tag team a couple resorts by you to get
Where was that you go?
It's through that Henry's, but we just use go in together with Cass Lake Lodge.
Good idea.
Now, when you go together on somebody, who's writing that off though? You guys think? Well,
So,
sure, you-
yep, so he pays the bill at Catholic Lodge, and then I write a check to him that just says ice cream.
We use Sandstrom's for our ice cream, and they have excellent flavors. And they do the cedar crust ice cream, which is very popular, and people get excited that we have it because you can't find it everywhere. But the flavors that they do have are just excellent. So, and I think their minimum is like $3 or $3.50.
I'm sorry, who was that again?
That was Ashley with Coles, the newbie. Oh, Sandstrom's.
Sandstrom's.
Yeah.
Do any of these places you guys are talking about have funky bottled sodas?
Oh, that's actually a good question. Well, I'm going to look into some brand. It's called the Northern Soda. It was very popular down in the cities. It's not bottles, but it's cans. And they have fun, funky flavors.
Kathy sounds like Kathy's got it. Oh, and Mary too. Kathy, go first, and then we'll go to Mary.
Core Beverage Company down in the cities. You can buy it by the case. They have all kinds of soda. We get like sarsaparilla and all fun names, and the bottles are, the orange sodas and the red and blue and purple, and that's another big hit here. And
what's it called again? Spell that out.
CORE Beverage Company. And we just go down there, and the guys there will tell you what their most popular ones are, and you just pick however many cases you want, and it's very simple. There's a bunch of different brands, tons.
That's helpful. Thank you. Mary Smerling, did you have another resource for us? Whoops, nope. Wait. You're muted. There you go.
We also have a restaurant, and we also sell beer. We have like 11 tap beers. I used to have all my food come from Cisco, which I believe now is like a $500 minimum. So if you're looking for a place, Cisco Foods. Otherwise, there's US Foods also that you could contact. But we sell a lot of the Sioux City sarsaparilla, which they have the orange cream and that in the bottles. And I get all that from Henry's. I get a lot of the candy from Henry's. They have a big show in the spring where you can go and they have a food section, and then they have like a CC section for, your convenience stores. So we go to both ends and we get some novelty candy from that. And then we get, our food for the restaurant. So they did raise their minimum, but for us, it's not a problem to meet that $7.50. And I know some people it is, but if you add some candy in with it and some of this bottle stuff, you would meet that minimum, no problem. So, but we've had nothing but good luck with Henry's Foods.
One thing to consider too is if you have any sort of convenience store or gas station near you, we've been offered by both Cisco and Sandstrom's that we could meet them at the gas station where they're already delivering and pick up our products, so we can order under our minimum but meet them to pick up our product. So
good tip. Awesome. So there's a lot of questions about ice cream. Balsam Beach wants to know if anybody serves soft ice cream. I think that's a different Department of Health regulation, right? We can only sell packaged things, pizzas and things in a package here. So I would have to get a different license to sell the soft serve ice cream.
Just do hand dipped. We don't do soft serve.
Is that right? Does anybody do soft serve? Nope. Okay. All right. Well, there's your answer, Clint.
A lot of work.
I think that too.
Yeah.
What else do we want to talk about? Do we want to talk about marketing at all? That's kind of opening up a huge kind of thing.
I have a question. What's happening with the sports shows? I usually do 1 or 2 sports shows, and they're canceling. The Council Bluffs one, I like that one. And then I do one in Rock Island, but the Rock Island one, they don't know if they're going to cancel it or not. I also do the Minneapolis one, and they canceled last year, so they forwarded our fee to this year, but I don't know if they're going to. Anybody else do the sports shows?
Well, it's a little bit of a different, crazy world out there right now with COVID, so I can't imagine that they're gonna try to do some large gatherings right now. Well, we've got some raging pandemic going on.
They're just all canceling.
Next year might be a different. Hopefully, will be a different ball of wax here. To talk about. So, unless somebody's got a comment about that, I know that. Casey wanted to talk about marketing, and I'm not sure exactly, but any tips or tricks about marketing kinds of things? Like, do you guys do brochures in your cabins for people to take home with them? Do you still do brochures? Do you have good luck with your Chamber of Commerce giving you good leads? Do you have burning questions about EMT ads, links to resorts and lodges? Does that do good for you? Let's just open that whole thing up because we've got about 20 minutes left. Yes.
My first question would be demographics. I don't know, can you hear me again?
Yeah, it's great.
Okay. My first question would be just a basic demographics. We pull about 60% of our guests from in-state. I'm wondering across the border that track everybody else. Anybody having good luck in Kansas over Iowa or anything like that? That's always kind of my first question.
Well, I think we're about the same. We draw a lot from Iowa and Nebraska, but we're pretty close to the 60%.
Yeah, we're the same too. We pull a ton from Nebraska, and maybe it's because they can just come up 29 and get to Otter Tail real easy. But a lot from Nebraska and Iowa, like Gary said.
Is anybody using any like the Booking.coms or any of those systems?
Sheila's.
I tried.
We'll go to Sheila first and then come to Casey.
I've been using VRBO for about 3 years, and I just do.
I have two, and I do not like them. So it's been a pain in the butt. And I only have one cabin on VRBO, and I finally got, after 6 years, I got 2 bookings this year from VRBO. That's the first time, which
wow.
Maybe I'm doing something incorrect in how I'm wording the text. So if you guys have had good luck, Lori and Sheila, I mean, please give us what you think has been your why it's been so good for you.
VRBO for us, I just had someone inquire on it, and there's some pipeliners working in the area, and they're going to come out and look at our big log house today, and I'm probably going to rent it for 4 months. So it's worked.
Great.
Yeah, I've got pipeliners in 2 of my places right now, and boy, they're anxious. They're looking for places. They're hurting.
Yeah.
But don't we have to be careful about renting out in the winter? Because they're not considered a year-round resort if you're licensed that way. We have to be careful about that.
There's no license for a year-round resort. It's just.
Well, they seem to be. In Becker County, they have a form they send us every year, and we have to tell them how many days we rent out. And we rent out over a certain amount of days, and then we.
That's a tax issue, though.
That's a tax issue.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
yeah, you go from mom and pop to commercial, and then you get
be
just
careful when
slaughtered.
you talk about it.
Well, so we just had some legislation pass through. Let me have Tom talk about it a little bit because there's some tax ramifications that we've been working on as a CMR group. Tom, please.
Okay, what they're talking about is your mom and pop resort classification. If you rent any cabin more than 256, I think, days within a year, and you then stupidly report that to the assessor's office when they send you that paper, your taxes will go to commercial and they will essentially at least double. So be very cautious when you do that. Now, we, as far as the CMR, we've been working on trying to get an exemption to that to allow for workforce labor for kind of long-term rental. We have not succeeded yet because I believe so. Jim Worley would have a better understanding of that because I haven't followed that part of that legislation, but we are working to try to get that done if we have not already got it done. For this year, we do have a couple of cabins that we're going to rent to the pipeline guys but we didn't rent anything January, February, March, April of the beginning of the year. So if you spread it out over a couple of, this is kind of a one-time thing with this pipeline stuff. So you got to look at it that you're only going to have it not rented for 100 days essentially, and you're fine.
Tim, do you have some more clarification about this topic?
Yeah, like Tom said, we have discussed with legislators about getting an exemption to that Ma and Pa classification for workforce housing. I believe this is the year because they're looking for ways to help the tourism industry without costing them money. And that is one way to do it, to still develop tax income, tax revenue, without costing anybody. We're not asking for money, we're just asking for a different clarification on that 1C classification. So this may be the year to get that pushed through.
So in the meantime, those of us, not me, but those of us who are renting our cabins to winter pipeliners or other kinds of people, what if it was you, how would we best fill out that paper to the assessor's office?
Lie.
Over 250.
Know, Sheila.
If you go over the 250 days, you're subjecting yourself to that higher tax classification. That is a personal decision you have to make in terms of filling out that form and how you fill it out. I am not here to tell anybody to lie, but I'm not here to tell anybody to tell the truth either. I mean, it's a stupid restriction that the tax assessors look for.
Okay. It was a good topic today. Glad we brought that up. I'm sure there's a lot of people with pipeliners right now that are in the situation. So fantastic. Burning questions. Marketing still. Does anybody have? Please.
I've got one note on the booking.com one. I stupidly signed up for theirs last year. They were going to let me I don't use res services or anything like that. You call me, send me an email to make a reservation. We want to talk to you before you can book here. And I was setting it up. They said, oh, yep, we can do it that way. I had to manually call 3 people and tell them no, they did not have a reservation here, because they just let them book and send money without ever communicating with me. I never took a dime from them, yet they are saying I owe money. And the only way I found a way to get off of their site is to not pay them. Basically deny payment, and then they will remove me. I was very happy to get that notification about 2 weeks ago. I wouldn't touch that company with a 10-foot pole. I did used to use VRBO until they got bought out by, I think it was Travelocity, and all of a sudden their services went from I pay for the subscription to I pay for the subscription and my guest gets to pay a 10% commission on their stay. And when you're talking about a $5,000–6,000 cabin rental, I couldn't do that to my guests anymore. So we got rid of all those things.
Interesting.
I had a very similar experience, Casey. And I ended up paying them for things that never occurred. That's why I asked it. I use booking.com all the time when I travel, but to have it at the resort was a real pain.
Sheila, do you have a comment? It looked like you might have had a comment about VRBO. No? Okay. Sorry.
I have a comment on VRBO. We use it for our reunion cabin and have had good luck with it. We've had that reunion cabin for 2 years. There's a different customer that books via VRBO than would call us, I think. But what we ask on VRBO is we don't accept a reservation on there until we speak to the people to make sure it's a match. And then some people, we put on there that, that rental is associated with Sunset Bay Resort, and some people go around VRBO and look at our website then to book through us directly also. So it's worked out real well. We probably had a full summer of bookings in that reunion cabin, and probably 4 or 5 came from VRBO. So we've had good luck with it. I
had good luck with the site itself. I just couldn't charge people that much money for its services on my end.
We don't use the booking.com.
But yeah, VRBO, it's interesting that people pay that fee and all the fees associated with it.
At
They
least
do,
once
though.
they come there to see you, they know where you are and they won't go through them again. They'll come right to you.
Yeah.
So that's a good stepping stone.
It was, and we used it originally probably 8-9 years ago, and then once Travelocity bought them out, we had enough of a returning book rate on them that we didn't need to use them anymore, so we were able to just let them go. But it did work out well at the beginning.
One of the things that you can do if you decide to go back to an Expedia.com or sign up with VRBO again, or one of those, a good tip, or Airbnb, whatever, go into extra charges and fees, and whatever percentage that company charges you. For example, Airbnb, I think, is like 7% or something. I'll just go in and I'll put a resort fee in there. So that whoever chooses to book through Airbnb is now getting charged what I would be charged by Airbnb, so it evens out. So in my conversations with people, if I'm having a conversation back and forth, hey, here's your check-in stuff. By the way, if you really want to come through me, it'll be less money because you're booking directly through me, and there isn't a middle person getting some commission off of that. So is that an experience you guys have too with VRBO, or okay, Jim?
So what percentage of your occupancy do you think you get through Airbnb or whatever it is? Jim?
Who, me? Oh,
yeah.
So we had over 60 cancellations last year. So it was a struggle for sure. I think I started up with Airbnb the end of June, and by the end of season, I probably had maybe 20 bookings from Airbnb that maybe might equal 7 to 10 grand in money. And they were like 2 or 3 nights. So most of the time people are looking through that avenue, whether it's VRBO or Expedia.com, which is connected to Booking.com or Hotels.com. They're usually looking for short stays. So it was harder. It was definitely more difficult to get the weekly stays that we wanted. I got a couple, but for the most part, they're just really looking for the short stays. So with cancellations, especially the last minute ones we were getting last year, I didn't mind because I was just trying to get whatever I could to fill in those cancellations. But typically what'll happen is I'll get a lot of action in spring and fall, because that's when I'll take the shorter stays. I'll get a few. Does that answer? Jim, did you have a comment too, or a suggestion, or what's your percentage, everybody else, about?
We only do the one cabin on VRBO because it's kind of a different animal. That also turns over on a different day of the week. But like I said, 3 out of about 15, I don't know what, 20%. But like Casey said, as time goes on, that will become less and less from VRBO because you get repeats who want to come back and they don't have to book through VRBO. And so the availability becomes less, and the demand because of that is less.
Other comments from people using Expedia or VRBO, or does anybody else use Airbnb? No. Okay. Does anybody else use Expedia.com? Okay.
Kim, are you using Expedia?
I am, and I have to say, Gary, it's a pain in the ass. It's like putting, what's that expression? A round peg in a square hole. I mean, they really are set up for hotels, and it has been a major learning curve. So I have reduced down, I think I've got cabin 19 and possibly 2 other cabins on there, but I limit it, and yeah, it's a pain in the butt. You have to really be careful about, okay, you have to click this button to make sure you can't have an immediate booking, because I had that happen. It's like, oh shit, I didn't need a 1-day advance notice. Oh, great, I didn't. So that happened last year on a Friday night, believe it or not. Somebody must have seen my Expedia. It was right in the early part of the summer, and some couple from the cities booked it within 2 hours of arrival. Mm-hmm. And they came up, and I just happened to have cleaned a cabin, actually had 2 before Saturday, because last year we were asking people to leave on Friday instead of Saturday. So I was a little bit of ahead. So I did end up booking it to him, but yeah, I don't want that to happen again. You have to be really careful about how you set that up and make sure all your T's are crossed and your I's are dotted when you're setting that shit up. It's a pain in the butt.
We had the same experience. Somebody booked a cabin, and I was in Europe, and so they showed up. There was nobody there. It was
one other comment on VRBO. We, like Casey mentioned, we like to talk to our guests before they book. We don't have online booking. So the other thing about these sites is you have to keep up the calendars. And we had a few on a site that honestly, I couldn't even remember that we signed up for. Glamping Hub, it's called.
Yep.
That they wanted to book kind of like you guys are talking about a day or two before arrival. And the cabin was really already filled. And, you know, you can only keep up with so many of those calendars when you're not booking online. So we eliminated a number of them.
I've got about 16 of my cabins on Airbnb now through the summer, which I may turn those on or not. But one comment about how many so keeping track of Expedia calendars, the VRBO calendar for one cabin, and then 16 other calendars for Airbnb was a real challenge last summer for sure. So I was starting to look at reservation software systems that would connect. And so I narrowed it down to 2. I was thinking about ResStream and Cloudbeds because we went and did demos this last month. And as it happens, both of them happen to be associate members of the CMR, and we actually do have both of them scheduled to do a demonstration for the group in January. I think the week of January 11th is what you'll get a notice from the CMR here quick. But if you get a reservation software system that connects to those calendars, every time you make a reservation, it'll automatically update the calendar with VRBO, Expedia, Airbnb, if you wanted that piece. But they're not cheap. These are, you know, we're talking like $200 to $300 a month to be on a program like that. So that was a little bit of a detriment for me going forward. So I have not made a decision. I'm still stuck with Reservation Master right now, and which is actually an upgrade because I used to have little recipe cards with all my and a pencil binder book, and I loved it. I was fine with it. So, all right. Anyway, we've got a few more minutes. Burning questions, yes, or let's finish up this conversation, please, Jim.
Other thing about that, spending that money per month, or like the trade shows that Gary had mentioned, we don't do any of that. We've created a referral program where we reward our customers for referrals versus spending that money on other advertising. It's direct impact dollars that we can recognize and reward our customers for, and it's been fantastic. And you know, we get a lot of referrals each year, and that works. I just see that as more effective than spending a lot of money on marketing that I don't know what I get from it. And a lot of these sites that charge a monthly fee, or the booking online and stuff, I just prefer to spend that on my customers versus the marketing agencies.
So you offer your guests, Jim, because he illustrated this or talked about this at 2 years ago at a fall conference, I believe, which was great. This is a great marketing tip that any of us could do. You guys offer your guests a discount if they come more than once a year, and then you also offer a discount if they refer. Is there a percentage or like a free day the next time they come, or?
Second stay discount is on our shoulder seasons, so it'd be spring and fall, and it's 20% off that second stay because they've already stayed at full price during the summer. And then the referral fee is 10% of the rental amount of the referred guest up to $100, but they can have multiple referral fees a year. So we take that right off their reservation amount and listed as a referral fee discount, or the 20% discount on the reservation for a second stay. And it's been last year, second stay, I mean, it was crazy.
Probably had a dozen to 15 people take advantage of that last year.
And
so our fall was really busy.
It's internal marketing that's easy, it costs the amount of the referral fee, but the money that I would spend on direct booking sites or whatever, it saves me money in the long run, and it satisfies my guests. And I potentially get the repeat customer.
Casey, go ahead. Sounds like you have.
Well, we built something, not really a referral system, but we've set it up so that, can you hear me again? Making sure?
You're great.
Okay. We do things like our activities. We do like a trivia night, $100 gift card. If you win, use it however you want. We have a lodge set up so that it's kind of a zero sum for us. We don't expect to make any money off of our ice cream, gift shop, all that fun stuff. Between that and then a hefty Facebook following, we run about a 70+% rebook rate from year to year. So we don't really need, I've given up on the VRBO, the bookings, I don't even do Google pay-per-clicks anymore. We found it to be better to take care of our existing guests, and then they tell family and friends, and it's very uncommon if I don't have a week out there in the summer that there's 2 or 3 new guests out of the entire week. We just keep rolling them over.
So I know, Casey, you mentioned, I don't know, I've been speaking to you a couple of times here this last month, but you spend a lot of time on Facebook. Was this true? You spend about 2 hours on Facebook every day. Is that true?
Yep, by the time you add up all the minutes, we do multiple postings per day, well, per week. Tried doing a lot of live streams this year, which I hate speaking on camera. It sucks for me, but my guests have been eating it up. Started off in the spring, we were putting docks in. There was a loon popped up next to me and Steve. Took up my phone just while he was setting the feet on the dock, and I was being dead weight. And people were just, I almost had 50 people watching this loon float around 10 feet away from us, and it just kind of snowballed all summer long on that side of it. It's always something I recommend if you're good at something.
Yeah.
I know, like Karen saying was good at blogging. I couldn't write a blog to save my soul. I would never even attempt it. For some reason, I'm good at Facebook. We got almost 20,000 followers now on our Facebook page.
That's phenomenal.
And we've tied in, and like our activity range is kind of the other half of that. You got to give them something to talk about and be happy about. We try to have very few extra items on the bill. It's your cabin, you rent a boat or not, done. We do tie-dye a t-shirt day. Every kid resort comes up and makes a tie-dye t-shirt. We usually rinse right around 90 t-shirts a week for doing that. Different activities like that, real low cost for us, but high impact. They wear our name all over the place, and we just don't expect to make any money off of those things.
Right.
More we save in the advertising costs, that we're not spending $10,000, $15,000 a year finding new guests. So it works out pretty well.
Yeah, marketing can go in all kinds of ways. Yes, Teresa, you had a comment. Please feel free. Unmute yourself. There you go.
Yep. Yeah, I was just wondering, with this whole t-shirt thing, we're a rather small resort with 9 cabins and mostly repeat. So buying t-shirts every year, expecting people to always want to buy a new one every year is crazy. But so this year I bought a Cricket, hoping that people will pick up their own shirt that they like, and then we have a design day. Has anybody heard of a Cricket machine?
No, we don't know what that is.
Cutting machines.
Please
You
describe
can
it.
design your own designs, and then it cuts them out, and then you iron them. I mean, like an iron-on kind of thing. So.
Oh. Huh. How big of a?
I struggle with having to purchase a minimal amount of a certain print, when I have minimal different people all the time.
How much was your Cricut machine?
I think I paid $300 for it.
Huh. So you designed it on your computer?
Yep.
And just print it out, basically?
Yep. It cuts it out on this machine. So.
Those machines also do vinyl letters for signage.
Yep.
They can. Lots of different applications. You just have to buy the vinyl and that type of stuff.
Huh.
Yeah,
and it's a novelty thing that you're not going to see anywhere else. So.
Yeah, and hopefully it gets an activity and involvement.
Good tip. Thanks for that. All right. Well, we're at 11:31 right now, which is when we said we were going to close down. If anybody wants to stay for an extra 5-10 minutes, we certainly could, but I figure we probably all have things to do today. So was it worth doing the Cracker Barrel? I think it's well worth sharing information and resources. There was a lot of tips, you guys. I'm looking at the chat and there was just a ton of resources. I think this is good to do. Yeah, please, Kim, do you have comments about Cracker Barrels or anything else that loose ends?
Yeah, I'm wondering, because there's such, like half of this information doesn't even relate to me being a small resort. I don't have a store. The bedding, the mattresses, all that's not an issue. Is there any way in the future that we can split these up to small resorts versus big resorts? And then also do where everybody's together, so that, because I feel like the people that have a small resort, I have a whole lot more to ask and know. And I find that the big stuff, like the candy in the store, that has nothing to do with me. So I'm just wondering, like, would it be to people's advantage to kind of categorize us as big and small so that we can help each other out with the problems that maybe are different that we face?
You know, my suggestion, if you did do that, have some where you combine them too, because we have a small resort too. We're only 8 cabins, but we get ideas from some of you people who have bigger resorts. So I would want to see them combined, but it's not a bad idea to have a separate Cracker Barrel at one point just for us 8 cabin people or whatever we are. But I really got a lot of information from the Sweeters family in the last Cracker Barrel, and I appreciate that.
So really, these are driven by burning questions, Kim. So really, we just kind of got together on education committee and thought, okay, we need to do Cracker Barrels. What are some starter topics here? Let's just let it run. And so we're just kind of letting the conversation go around depending on people's interest level, their comments, their questions in the side. So truly, you just need to keep asking. We would love to have those questions come up because that's fodder for subject and topic matter. We're constantly looking for ideas to do and help serve the membership. So if you've got specific questions, like even just right now, tell us a couple of things that you would like to learn about, and we'll just start conversations in the chat line. So yeah, please go ahead. Do you have a couple questions?
Oh, there's a ton of things. Like, I would love to have conversations about repeat customers and incentives over the years. If they're long-term, do you do something special for them? One of the things I do for my repeat is I take pictures of them, and then in their cabin, maybe from 5 years ago, I'll put a photo of them and their kids next to their bed. But you know, like one of the things that I've learned is get the money up front before they leave, because I was tired of having 10% of the people cancel. Even if they're good people that have been with you a long time, they'll screw you at one point or another. And so, you know, closing on a Friday, I mean, all the ins and outs and I've learned also not to be friendly, but they're not your friends, they're your customers above all. And when it comes to them needing to cancel, if you don't have their money, they're not going to feel bad canceling on you. It's just business to them. So yeah, I mean, I just like the money part of it, the relationships part of it. I liked the marketing that we talked about, referrals, how you do that. So yeah, that's some of the things I'm interested in.
So today's starter topic was about supplies. Last time was about how COVID affected our seasons. The next one, we're planning on talking about, starting to talk about feedback, how to handle bad reviews, how do you solicit feedback from your guests and why. Those of you who aren't doing it, why not? Those of you who are doing it, why are you doing it? We also have it's a dual topic. We're going to talk about some legislative issues that the CMR has tackled the last few years and what we want to tackle this year. And then February's, right now, the starter topic is all about troubleshooting, best tips and tricks for fixing shit, you know, air conditioning and heaters and water heaters and that kind of thing. But we're also starting to plan the spring conference, and we're planning, I think, Timberly can maybe allude to this more, but we're thinking about doing several Cracker Barrels. So starter topic about repeat customers. What are the other things you guys are talking about? How to handle customer relationships. Is that right? I got that down. Again, too, these are wonderful questions to just throw out on the chat line, which, by the way, we're in a transition. So everybody expect an email here pretty quickly in the next few days. We're switching from the Yahoo chat line to another system. So there's a little bit of rigmarole just to sign up. I mean, you're going to be on it pretty quickly, but expect something in the next couple of days. So we'll be switching that next week. But those are great.
It will be on the, I would like to say something on the chat line there. There will be an announcement that basically says that we're switching. Kim, it's not going to be as hard as you experienced. You were my test case, and I was doing something different there. So essentially, you will be automatically added to the chat line. It will be our main main way of communicating with our membership. Even if you were not on the chat line before, you should still stay subscribed to this, because there is a way to filter out the chat line portion of it. It's actually called a group, and it's a mailing list, and so all of our important information will be mailed out to you, emailed out to you over this group. And then if you don't want the chat portion of it where people ask questions about various things like, you know, this Cracker Barrel, you can just sign up for special notices, and then that way you just get the important stuff like upcoming conferences and the legislative update type of thing. So stand by for that. It's very complicated. It's very complicated on my end. I'm setting this thing up to get it all straight.
Which we appreciate. Thank you for doing that, Tom. Well, I've got some tips now for a couple of starter topics, Timberly. Looks like deposits, how we all handle that, policies, when we take our money. Do you take, up front versus at the end of their stay? Relationships with customers, how do you guys keep that? Repeat customers, how do you reward that? In-house marketing might be a topic all on its own, which might be a fun one. Sorry, I'm just brainstorming and I'm using you guys. What else? Got it. Making notes. Okay, so I'm certainly, I'd be willing to stay for another 20 minutes if you got some burning questions. Otherwise, we can close for the day and do our own thing. Any burning questions you guys want to talk about? Those who are remaining, because you can certainly just bow out whenever you wish. Burning question?
I've got just, well, a couple quick things I'll say. More to Jacob's Cove. I can't remember her name right off the top of my head right now. I sympathize with the angst sometimes about you sit on a meeting and you go for an hour and maybe there was nothing there that pertained to you. I've been doing this since I was 3 years old. I've been through a few different group organizations, went from 11 cabins to 28 cabins, how I grew up to 112 bedrooms. Used to being kind of the odd one out as far as size, and sometimes you're the little guy, sometimes you're the big guy. It's strange how often you come across a nugget that maybe a month from now you go, oh, that was helpful that we talked about a month ago, even though it didn't come up. It wasn't obvious to you in the moment, kind of a thing. So I would encourage you to keep listening to all of them, even if you don't think it's going to pertain to you. And as far as guest relationships, they are walking wallets, and if you could get them to ship you their wallet, will they stay home? Tell me how you did that, because I wouldn't mind that come August most years. So.
Great. All right. Fantastic. I think Gary was waving goodbye. So any other burning questions? Otherwise, we can call it a day.
No, I was just going to say, I think on our membership, looking back at some of the numbers when I was in charge of the membership committee, a lot of our resorts are that 6 cabin to probably a 15 or 16 cabin resort is a bulk of our membership. So we have a few that are bigger and we have some that are smaller. So, Kim, how many cabins do you have? 4, 5, 5. Yeah. So I mean, we have smaller resorts than you, but I would still think overall a lot of the things that you're going to run into or have to deal with, all of us are probably tackling the same issues, just on maybe a slightly bigger scale. We only have 8 cabins ourselves, but we have 30 seasonal campers too, so that adds to the mix. But yeah, I would say keep listening, and if like during these Cracker Barrels, turn your mic off and jump in and just ask your questions. No better way to get them answered than just jumping right in.
That'll be my last thing, actually. That spring conference, you mentioned Cracker Barrels. That's honestly the only thing that's getting me in the door. I don't really care about the marketing side of it. I don't trust groups to market themselves. I don't, legislative. I can get the emails from the lobbyer. It's these things that are helpful, and everything else is just kind of fluff, in my opinion. So keep them going.
Hopefully, it won't be fluff. We're trying to get a unemployment person to come speak about employees and how that all works. So those are topics that I always look at and go, oh my God, this is going to be the most boring topic on the planet. But every single conference or workshop where we have a regulatory person come speak, it somehow becomes the hot button topic. So service dog guy came and spoke. OSHA guy came, and I think he was shocked at how much engagement that there was. We had an employment insurance guy come speak about that. So, it's one of those things where, oh God, it's a necessary evil. We got to pay our property taxes. We got to pay this and that. But when you learn about it and the why, just a couple little tips to help how you respond to an unemployment response from a employee who's signing up for unemployment. You know what to do with it. So anyway.
Hey, Kim wants to talk.
I've never been able to go to one of those conferences because I work a regular job.
Mm-hmm.
So the resort isn't my main income, and they're always like during the week, so I can't go. So I appreciate these because I at least get information from other resort, but it would be great for those of us that can't go to the conferences if you would record them and put them on a platform like this where we could click on and watch it.
So 2 things with that. One, the workshop that we had last spring is recorded, and you can find a link to that on the CMR website. Also, the last Cracker Barrel that was hosted here is also on the website. Just go to CMR website, go to education, and you will find the link so you can listen to that, or you can speed through it, fast forward, and just look at the side chat to get resources. Third thing is specifically because of what you're mentioning, a lot of people have other jobs Monday through Friday. Timberlea and the Education Committee has actually scheduled this conference coming up in spring on a Saturday, and we'll probably follow up with a little bit on Sunday. So hopefully that'll help, and it'll be by Zoom, so it probably will be recorded. We're still working out details, so it depends on a number of factors. But thank you for bringing that feedback, because you are not the only one that has brought that up. So thank you for that. Great. Comments? Threads? Crickets are...
I say we wrap it up, call it a day.
I say that too. Thank you, Timberlea, for recording. Me or Jim will probably go in and fish that out, and that will be a recording of this group. Cracker Barrel will be up on the website probably within the week. So thank you for attending today. It was nice to see people's faces and know that you're still alive and out there. Sometimes it's rather isolating just being with your hubby or whoever in your household. So it's good to see your faces. So wonderful. Well, thank you again.
Hey Kim. Kim, I would just add one thing in that on all these conferences, if anybody on any of these, or not this conference, but if anybody on these Cracker Barrels has questions or other things they'd like to bring up, do never hesitate to call one of the board members and just throw it at them. I mean, you get your Resorter Reporter magazine, everybody's in the back who's on the board, all our phone numbers are there. If you ever have an idea, an issue, a problem that comes up anytime throughout the year, and we don't have a Cracker Barrel or some kind of forum like this going, don't hesitate to pick the phone up and call any of us, especially me. I'm the president. I'll talk to anybody. I like to talk. Ask everybody. I love to talk.
Yes, he talks to everybody, which is awesome. So, well, and if some of us are not able to write all the little links and resources on the side, again, we'll put this recording up on the website within the week. So you can just go click on it, link through, or ask again in the chat line. Hopefully we'll all be signed up really quickly next week on the new chat system. And I would encourage us to just ask questions. That's the whole thing. Resorters helping resorters, and the idea that none of us alone is as smart as all of us together. So thank you guys for coming today. Yay! Hopefully we'll see you next month, either in the reservation res stream or cloud beds demonstration or marketing workshop or the next Cracker Barrel. So have a good day and Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays. All right, bye now.